Hey everybody, it's Meg. So it's been a couple weeks actually. Tomorrow it will be 3 weeks that we actually, my group entered Santiago, and I figured I wanted to touch base and do a Facebook Live, and I know it's impromptu, but I figured that's kind of my life lately because it's everything spontaneous and trying to organize and get organized and set my calendar up. But I did want to set something out because today I loved. God, it's funny. I loved what I wrote in my book because it talks about do not be afraid to stand out in a crowd. And I was thinking last night I went to the Miami Book Fair, had a publisher, someone who was a literary agent in a former, I guess, life, because now she's an editor, and she did a presentation last night on how to go about publishing your book. So I figured I'd go because, like, this is something I believe if you want to be around writers and become a writer yourself, stick around with writers, right? If you want to become a dreamer, go hang out with people who dream and make things happen. If you want to be around people who dance and sing, go around them, and just, I don't know, somehow osmosis will take over and you will start to dance and sing too. So last night I went to this publishing event, or an event that was talking about publishing, and it dawned on me, since I started this journey nearly 6 years ago now to actually publish my first book, you must be a writer because you're writing. Well, anyway, everything that she said, and she was pretty young too, but she had experience because she had been in the business for some time and she knew what literary agents, I imagine, were looking for. And I was just like, oh my God, I know so much. And the thing is, what next? And that's what I'm talking about right now. What next? And I think that the first thing that you need to do when you think about your what next is not to be afraid to stand out in the crowd. You show up as you. And I was writing this morning and I was like, God, how many of us actually do that? How many of us actually show up as our authentic selves, not afraid of what other people are going to say or to be judged or critiqued? And I actually met another writer last night, and she said she had actually queried, when you write a book, the first thing that you do to get an agent is you send out a query letter. And they say you specifically target your query letter to people who are in your similar genre. And it's a mystery. It really is a mystery. It's like, oh my God, who, like they say, J.K. Rowling sent out like maybe 20, 30 before somebody picked her up and was like, wow, this woman has talent. So she had to go through 30 people before someone told her she had talent. Fast forward to what we're experiencing with the J.K. Rowling talent, right? Harry Potter and all its different manifestations, and we love it. The magic, the mystery, the amazing, and it's got a huge part of a theme park now. So I said to this girl that I met last night, as she was actually asking questions about her own book and talking to me about how people actually rejected her writing, her work. And then she said I was going to put it on the side because it didn't look like it was getting any traction. And I said to her, what do you care? Like, seriously, if there's one person out there that reads your book and is inspired by it or moved by it or inspires themselves to live life differently because of virtue of the fact that you wrote something that's amazing, then who are you to keep that from that one person? So I said, look, honestly, in the great scheme of things, it would be lovely to, someone tap you and say, oh my God, you're incredibly special, and oh my God, I want to take you under my wing and, do amazing things with you. But the reality is this: you go, do and be you. And you keep showing up over and over again like that. And eventually you will meet up with the dreamers. You'll meet up with the inspiring ones. You'll meet up with the people who want to walk 117 kilometers from Sarria to Santiago. You'll meet up with people who want to collaborate with you to make your dream come to life, or collaborate with you to, I don't know, inspire the world in a different way. Like, think outside the box. And I was laughing because this girl who was the literary agent, who was actually the presenting, or the former one, she didn't have the answers either. I mean, she knows what she dealt with in her, niche, and her, corner of the world. But the world is a huge universe. It's a huge place, and there's so many people out there. I mean, even in China alone, my father always says 1 billion people, 1 billion people. So imagine, in this great big world that we live in, whatever gift you have to offer is important, is special, is the thing that someone needs to hear. And once you start to believe in the possibilities that is you, you end up, doing things that you would not have thought you'd ever do. And I laugh because, I'm thinking back over the last 3 weeks and how I've dealt with my own personal injuries based upon the road to El Camino and to Santiago. I hurt my ankle, but the bottom line is this, but I just had this incredible experience. So I'm like the reintegration process and actually processing all of this. And I'm thinking, oh my God, imagine if I didn't do that because I was scared that what this, that, and the other, and my doubts or fears got in the way. And the bottom line is that you can't be inhibited or hindered by those things that are not a reality. It's all an illusion anyway in your mind. It's like we were talking about this morning too. It's like mind over matter. The mind is a very powerful thing. And two girls actually I spoke to last night were talking about manifestations. Like, what is it that you want to manifest in your life through a place or from a place of love? What is it that you want to do in your life? What is it like that you came here to do? What passions do you have, and how do you want to show up? And start thinking about that and visualizing that kind of life. And then you start doing what I said. Like Andrea said, go, if you want to write, go be with the writers. The writers will inspire. There's a collaboration there. There's a group there. And it really is a connective process where you get together and you really want to help other people succeed and achieve. And you want to teach them what you know, because look, what good is wisdom unless you share the wisdom? What good is all these experiences in your life if there's no one to share them with? Which I find fascinating. Even going to law school. I mean, I have a bond with my fellow classmates in law school because of the process that you go through could be a bit grueling. And the bar itself, the whole summer before, you're all like freaking out, but you're doing it together. So I find that it's the connective, collaborative process that will, in fact, catapult all of us forward. We just have to get to a place of unity, somehow get to a place of understanding at something that is similar. And someone told me once that if you wait long enough, you'll find something you have in common with every person you meet. And certainly that means you might have to wait a long time for some people, but generally, usually when you show up and where you show up, you're going to align to a lot of people surrounding you. And I found that on the El Camino. That was one of the incredibly great things that I chose to set up every morning and put my shoes on and actually set out again into this, I don't know. They told me 13 miles the first day. It ended up being almost 17. I don't know if that's because I got lost on the way or not. But I mean, the bottom line is that I put my shoes on, I put them on, and I did it. And I walked in it, and I kind of did it with a curiosity as to what I would learn for the day. And the cool thing was, at the end of the day, there was so much to process because you learned so much. And in my particular group, the 17 that I was with as a part of, we got together and we had dinner and we shared, collaborating together at night, the experiences we had over wine and good food in Spain. So, what I'm trying to impress, I think, 3 weeks, what is the greatest wisdom that I learned on El Camino? Well, first of all, I get to share an evening, a Facebook Live with my good friend Heidi Seifkes. She and I are going to be talking about El Camino and how it impacted her. She's more of a seasoned hiker. I'm a beginner hiker. It was my first time doing anything. In fact, I would never in a million years imagine the hills that I went up and down. But it was my experience. And from my perspective and hers, you get to have a rich experience as to what it is that we went through. And maybe you too have the itch to go hiking in northern part of Spain and to see, because it's quite beautiful. Galicia is absolutely stunning. And, nature in itself and what it had to offer was just beyond incredible. So that might be something that we're doing a Facebook Live on Monday. So I invite all of you to join me and Heidi. And then part 2 is going to be with me and Judge Denise Lane. And wow, we spent most of the time hiking together. And it was really kind of this growth transformational process where, oh my God, you start to understand that got to be kinder to yourself. The self-sabotage crap is not going to help you when you need to go 100+ kilometers. And the bottom line is self-love is super important when it comes to how you show up every day in this world, and you know, giving out the love buttons. I mean, God, I am beyond grateful for that opportunity, because as I brought out my love buttons, I got to share them with everybody who passed me, or I passed on the road. So like I said, I felt compelled to do a Facebook this morning because I really wanted to share the message that what is different about all of us is what makes us special. And we don't need to go find and imitate others to experience the life of our dreams. It's actually showing up as who we are, you know, armed with whatever skills and tools we have, and what we're learning and what we're willing to share with others, and the wisdom to be shared. Certainly, you know, there's really no point in learning it if you're not going to, you know, teach the people who follow you. So and I wanted to say the magical key to bliss today was expose a part of your crazy, wonderful, different creative soul to the world today. And I love that because I really am embracing the who I am and the how I show up a lot more than I used to. Perhaps maybe in the past I was more fearful of the judgments that came with it, or my perceived judgments that came with it from other people. Lord, my God, before I even published my first book, I was afraid that people would say, what a hoax, you know, what kind of a horrible writer is she? But the bottom line is, it was what I had to share. So it had to be shared. It was well done to the extent that I don't show up, you know, with things underwhelming. I try to do my best in every avenue, but the bottom line is this: it's really important for the whole world that you show up as your crazy, awesome, wonderful self, personality and all, authenticity and all, and don't be afraid to stand out in a crowd, because the bottom line is you're going to benefit somebody, and you're going to that person's going to benefit the next person by virtue of the fact that they got to meet you and they got to know you. And then you start transforming your dreams into reality. Other people start to want to do the same, and they start to be emboldened and empowered. I met this girl last night, and she was adorable. She's 22 years old. She said she had written 2 books, 2 memoirs, and like I said before, was rejected by certain query letters. And I was like, oh, and you're going to stop now? I go, what kind of writer do you want to be? I mean, if you embrace the fact that you are a writer and that is what you want to do, don't let 5 or 10 people discourage you. You keep going and you keep building that foundation, because there's going to be somebody who comes out to support you and try to bring your dream to life eventually, as long as you just don't give up. And that is another thing, is never quit. Because if you quit, you'll never know the magnificence of your accomplishments that are just waiting to happen. And like I said, when you accomplish something, it's not you alone. There's so many people who are cheering you on, that feel like they're a part of that endeavor that you have set out to do, which is magical, amazing, and like I said, magnificent. So I want to leave you with the idea, and I think this is really important, I guess, on a Thursday and May 10th. And I don't know, I just really felt inspired to share that, you know, you're special and you're what the world needs. So there's really no point in keeping it to yourself. So as we embark on our day and continue, it's 2:30 here Eastern time, I just want you to know that, you know, hold on to your unicorn, because it's going to be an amazing ride. And that was for Mandy Munzer and Fran Phillips, because the bottom line is really the experience is waiting for you. Whether or not you take hold of it and say yes is really quite up to you. It's your choice. The opportunities are out there. Whether you actually keep looking for them or paying attention, it's really your choice. And bottom line, you're never going to feel completely whole unless you decide to choose to show up as you. So I want you to all have a great day, and grab onto your unicorn, grab onto your tiara, grab onto your crown, whatever it is, and, you know, go and walk your own El Camino, because that is really what we're doing, is walking on our journey, trying to look for those people who help us come more and more alive. And the most amazing thing is when we all get to celebrate each other in the end, because I can tell you one of the coolest things about finishing El Camino and getting to the church were all of the love and support that came at me. And I swear I didn't have to stop. You know, it's funny, because had I stopped, I would never have known. And there was no way that experience is not etched into my brain forever ever and ever and ever. Everything I do from this point is going to be impacted by that. And I hope, I don't know, I hope that what I bring or what wisdom I share with others is going to help someone else maybe make the decision to actually walk toward the best life they could imagine. So I'm sending you love right back at you, and I hope you have an amazing day, everyone, and blessings, butterflies, and bliss. Bye.